It's looking like time might be up for TikTok.
The federal government has confirmed the ban on social media app TikTok on government devices.
Concerns that user data could be accessed by and that content could be influenced by the Chinese Communist Party.
TikTok is not having a good time right now. It's being banned on government-issued devices around the world, including the US, the UK, Canada, and now Australia.
The decision's been taken about government-issued devices based on that advice from the security agencies.
TikTok collects nearly every data point imaginable, from people's location to what they type and copy, who they talk to, biometric data, and more.
Our concerns around TikTok are around security and access to information that the Chinese government could have to government phones.
For now, the app is only banned on government-issued devices, but should a bigger ban be put into place? And is it any worse than any other existing social media apps? Conversations about banning TikTok date back to 2020 during Donald Trump's presidency.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options.
The key reason that governments are so worried about TikTok comes down to its owner. The app is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance. It was launched in 2017 after ByteDance bought lip-syncing app Musical.ly for 1.5 billion Australian dollars. It has about 1 billion users worldwide, including an estimated 7 million Australians. TikTok doesn't exist in China. They have their own version, also owned by ByteDance, called Douyin. There are fears the app can harvest your data and hand it to the Chinese government, like your location, browser history, and biometric identifiers. A 2022 report by cybersecurity organisation Internet 2.0 took a look at TikTok permissions in Android. It found that TikTok checks device locations at least once an hour, had access to calendars, contacts, and device information like Wi-Fi, as well as retrieving data about apps that are installed and running on the phone. It also had access to the clipboard. This is usually the last thing you copied. This could be problematic because a lot of password managers use your clipboard. The report concluded the application can and will run successfully without any of this data being gathered. This leads us to believe that the only reason this information has been gathered is for data harvesting. It's important to note that this was looking at Android permissions. On iPhone devices, they have something called a justification system, where people who run apps have to justify why they need this information. The authors said the mechanism in Apple limits a culture of grab what you can in data harvesting. Another reason why governments are so worried about TikTok is because of the Chinese national security laws. In 2017, China introduced a national intelligence law requiring companies to hand over any personal data relevant to the country's national security.
What that law requires is that all Chinese entities and all Chinese individuals cooperate with the direction of Chinese intelligence agencies and that they keep that cooperation secret.
In fact, in 2022, TikTok admitted Australian data could be accessed in China, prompting warnings the app may be compromised. TikTok says it keeps user data on servers in Singapore and Los Angeles. To avoid a ban in the US, TikTok says it'll route all US data to a company called Oracle. They're calling this Project Texas, where access to US data would be managed by US employees independent of ByteDance. TikTok's CEO was questioned for 5 hours in front of the US Congress about these privacy questions and China's possible influence.
So, Mr. Chu, if the CCP tells ByteDance to turn over all data that TikTok has collected inside the US, even within Project Texas, do they have to do so, according to Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, but there are employees of yours and ByteDance's in China.
We understand this concern. In my opening statement, we said, we hear these concerns, we didn't try to avoid them or trivialize them. We built something where we take that data and put it out of reach.
I still believe that the Beijing Communist government will still control and have the ability to influence what you do. And so this idea, this Project Texas, is simply not acceptable.
But it's not just the potential for data harvesting. A lot of experts are worried about the kind of content that TikTok can feed. TikTok's algorithm is very good at figuring out what you might like. I mean, how does it know that I would like a video about a guy cutting up leather bags?
Take a Veneta, our community. Is it worth it? Let's get into it.
Some are worried about the kind of content TikTok could feed, that it could be pro-China, and there are concerns about possible censorship issues. In the UK in 2020, a senior TikTok executive admitted the company used to censor content critical of China, specifically with regard to the Uyghur situation. She admitted the company censored content likely to anger China in the past, but insisted that is no longer the case.
All of these things are in the hands of a government that doesn't share our values.
Even journalists have been caught up in the privacy debate. American reporter Emily Baker White, who had been writing about the app, found herself a part of the story.
Members of a ByteDance-based team, the internal audit and risk control team at ByteDance, improperly accessed my data, actually. They were trying to figure out who within the company was sourcing my stories. And so a group of people tried to use my IP address to figure out where I was physically.
An investigation by ByteDance and TikTok found journalists from 2 media outlets had been tracked. 4 staff members were fired. The thing is, we haven't been told about the top secret advice about why TikTok is so risky, but these concerns have been around for years. In 2020, then President Donald Trump published executive orders targeting TikTok and the Chinese messaging app WeChat. The orders would have blocked transactions between US companies and the apps, stopping them from being downloaded in US app stores, as well as other transactions. But 2 courts blocked this from happening. In mid-2021, Joe Biden revoked Donald Trump's executive orders banning TikTok and WeChat. But President Joe Biden seems to have changed his mind.
Does the president believe TikTok is a threat to national security?
Well, we have said that we have concerns. We have concerns about the app.
In the US, the Biden administration is pushing for ByteDance to sell the app or face a ban, something Trump had tried in 2020. TikTok has denied any influence by the Chinese government.
And you spoke in your opening statement about a firewall relative to the data. But the Chinese government has that data. How can you promise that that will move into the United States of America and be protected here?
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what?
I've asked that question.
I find that actually preposterous.
The list of countries that have banned TikTok and government devices is growing. Canada, the US, and the EU have made the move to ban the app on government devices, as well as Taiwan. India is one of the few places in the world with a total ban on TikTok, after growing tensions with China in 2020 at the Himalayan border over privacy and security concerns. Pakistani authorities have banned TikTok at least 4 times since 2020 because of concerns about immoral content. And the Taliban has banned the app in 2022 over concerns it was misleading youths. Australia is part of the Five Eyes intelligence network, which includes New Zealand, Canada, the UK, and the US. In this debate about TikTok, there have been criticisms that it's been unfairly targeted because the app is from China.
The United States should respect the principles of market economy and fair competition and stop unreasonably suppressing enterprises of other countries.
While there are clearly questions over TikTok, is it any worse than Facebook, Google, or Twitter?
So, Mr. Chu, would TikTok be prepared to divest from ByteDance and Chinese Communist Party ties if the Department of Treasury instructed you all to do so?
Congressman, I said in my opening statement, I think we need to address the problem of privacy. I agree with you. I don't think ownership is the issue here. With a lot of respect, American social companies don't have a good track record with data privacy and user security. I mean, look at Facebook and Cambridge Analytica.
The issues that apply in relation to data from TikTok apply equally to Amazon, to Meta, to Facebook.
TikTok is at the center of a battle between the West and China over tech supremacy and national security. This story is changing quickly. All eyes will be on the US to see if ByteDance does sell to an American owner. But there are serious questions over privacy, China's influence, and the future of tech ownership. As for the millions of TikTok users around the world, it'll be up to them to decide how much they care about the potential for Chinese influence and what their privacy is worth.